I know so many people who have gone through it who were my age, that I grew up with, people that didn't make it out of their teens, who overdosed and things, like people that are in my neighborhood around the corner from me and stuff. And I grew up in a, nice neighborhood, good schools, like, and nobody knew about their stories.
Yeah.
Nobody focused on their attention. And so I think what my thing always was, with the reason I have always decided to be open about my issues with addiction and alcoholism and things, was that we tend to think that it doesn't happen everywhere, that not everyone is affected by this, and that it's just, those fucked up kid stars or people in that business, or that, and you're like, no, it's your neighbor, it's the kid around the corner, it's everyone. And when we share those stories, suddenly the families of those people don't feel like they have something to be ashamed of, that it's a failing on their part, that either the person who is struggling with addiction isn't weak or wrong or bad, that sharing the stories about what I've been through and getting sober and like all of the, the really hard things that I had to deal with, I think it's never, I've never heard someone, I've never regretted sharing it, because I've always had someone come up to me and say that it was really important, or made them think, or helped someone that they loved or themselves. And so I'm like, what, as scary as it might be, and as much as I might hate bringing up the past or talking about like who I was, I know that being open and honest and just real about the shit that we all go through is the point of it all.
Yeah. And I mean, like, I don't want to like press you on it, but it's just like, I bring it up because it's a conversation and you want to be respectful to the act that you have on. But like, the reason that I kind of wanted to bring it up, because like, it's rare to have these kind of conversations with people like yourself. But like, I look back at it, and like, there was a point in time where, again, like when the internet was hoax and everything was like put up,
right.
It's like Jaleel White that played Urkel. Like, I remember seeing an article where they were like, yeah, Jaleel shot himself, and this was, and I was like, no, like, what? I was like, but in my mind when I got older, I was like, I can understand that because you're related to this character and that's all you know him for.
Right.
Or when I, like, and again, it's before my time, and there's going to be people like, great, thanks for aging me, but like the character on like Different Strokes, and I think Howard Stern had her on. And
Dana,
he was like very adamant of like, do a drug test. And then I was just like, that's a little bit like much.
It was, I think we have moved a long way. We still have a long way to go, but I think the discussions that we have now about mental health and addiction as a mental health issue, and not as a personality failing, or as like you're a trashy human, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, let's be real, that was sort of, it was a judgment thing. It was like, oh, you must obviously be like a bad person.
And
I think now our conversations about mental health and anxiety and depression and addiction and all of those things have come so far that it's like, to see someone treat someone who had struggled with addiction like that, now people would be like, what are you doing? That's not how you talk to people. And so I'm grateful to have been, I would like to think, a voice in that movement of talking about it and normalizing it, and moving away from the exploitation of it, the shows, intervention and, Dr. Drew and things like that, I Celebrity Rehab and stuff, which I always really had a problem with. I just think that once we got to the point where we're like, no, this is a something that people need help with, and we don't get to be mean to them because of it, really changed how we have these conversations. And so many people now come out and they're like, yeah, I struggled with this, or my kid, or my sister, or my, whereas before people would be like, I don't want to talk about that. That's like a family thing, that like, we're not going to reveal our secrets. And it's like, well, we're only as sick as our secrets. We're only as, as fucked up as the things that we keep inside, that we let eat us alive. And I just I didn't want to do that anymore. I was like, that's too much.